Take 3. Just kidding. All right, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna do our review on this book, and it's called Things I Wish I'd Known Before We Got Married by Gary Chapman. That's the book right there. And I want to say that this really helped us when we were courting before we got married. We didn't take premarital counseling like we wanted to, just because we had a lot of things going on. I was working 2 jobs, and I don't know, it was just a lot at the time. And the Bible study that we were going to had provided marriage classes for everyone there. And so we were attending some classes, but we decided to do what is it called? Well, just do therapy after, or counseling after marriage. Yeah.
So we needed some tool. So we thought a book would be good to go to, and it was kind of chopped up in pieces towards Myra had decided, hey, let's do this weekly and like kind of meet up and kind of make it a date. So we're like, all right. And I think it was about 10 chapters the book provides, and the author also did the 5 love languages. So we kind of knew that we heard a lot about that book. We haven't read that book, but we heard a lot about it, and so we're like, okay, we're gonna learn about that. So we kind of had a little bit of an idea of like what we were gonna like kind of talk about, but it had enough in there for us to kind of pull a lot of things per week. So it was pretty challenging, actually.
Yeah, it was cute because we tried to make it into like a little date thing. So, it has 12 chapters, but we did it every Saturday. So every Saturday we would take time and we would go over this book, and it was a nice way to spend time together and still getting to know each other. Yeah, this book got real. It made you like go through things together, and there was like healing in this book too. And it just like really helped us out. Should I just go over the chapters too, or no?
Yeah. So, just before she goes over the chapters, there was very, I think there was some challenging things in there that were really hard to actually talk about. And I think if you are going to check this book out, and honestly any other book, you really have to be transparent. Like the more transparent you're going to be, the better it's going to save you later. So the more you're going to bring to the table, and the better your marriage is going to have like a kickstart to. So I'll say it was really hard actually for me, it was really hard going through this book. It was not as easy as I thought. I thought this was just going to be, it was cute, a date and stuff, but there was some times where, I didn't feel that way. It was very cute. Actually hard. Yeah. So.
Well, the name of each chapter is I Wish I'd Known That Being in Love is Not an Adequate Foundation for Building a Successful Marriage, that romantic love has 2 stages, that the sayings like mother like daughter and like father like son are not myths, how to solve disagreements without arguing, that apologizing is a sign of strength, that forgiveness is not a feeling, that toilets are not self-cleaning, that we needed a plan for handling our money, that mutual sexual fulfillment is not automatic, that I was marrying into a family, that spirituality is not to be equated with going to church, and that personality profoundly influences behavior. So I wrote down some notes on the book that, stood out to me. The ones that were like really important was knowing our love languages. In the book, it gives you like this website where you can, do the little like survey thing, and it tells you like your strongest ones and the important ones. And it was interesting to know, my top 3 was, what was my first one?
Your first one?
Yeah.
Your first one was quality time.
Oh yeah, my first one was quality time. The second one was physical touch, and the third one was gifts. And then yours were?
Mine was physical touch. It was quality time, and words of affirmation.
Yeah. So, that helps us in our marriage, and also
also how you, for example, how you use those love languages. It's kind of, when you think about that, it's like, what do I gotta do, right, as your love language? But it's also how you apologize. How do you receive apologies? How do you handle conflict? with those love languages. So how do you communicate those love languages? Obviously, we haven't experienced all of that even in our past. So we knew that those were going to pop up, and we knew that the book was going to be the reference of like how we are going to, respond to each other.
Yeah, and it just like helps you to know the person, because you could be doing things and it's not even reaching the person. But if you know their love languages and like doing things how they like, then it's like it makes things easier. Just also talking about our upbringing, religion, and breaking things that we were used to doing growing up. I think some of those things are important, especially in your faith and like traditions, and also
I would say too, real quick, like your parents, like how you were raised. We have different experiences, and obviously, not obviously, but I mean, her parents and my parents, they're kind of late converts, or like kind of converting, like they're kind of like, they're new in their faith journey. So we were in faith before our parents. So that's a big dynamic, and those are things that we are going to have to navigate like together. We knew like that's going to be a big important part of like our ministry and our life and stuff like that.
Yes, that's true. And it also like shows us too like what we offer to the table, because there's like an activity in here, and it's like also kind of like reflecting our parents, like okay, our parents do this and our parents do that, and like deciding like, okay, like I'm not gonna do what my mom does, or he's gonna decide what to not do what his dad does, and those type of things too. And I think some things too that like some people struggle with is how you were raised. Some of us were taught to like clean and not clean, and that could be like an argument because in your household it could be different. Your mom could do everything for you, and then it's gonna obviously be different when you live with your wife, and your wife may not want to do everything for you, and you're gonna have to like do things for yourself. And I don't know, I just know for like listening to other people's experiences that those type of things can really like affect your marriage. And I think knowing up front like what you have to offer like really helps, and it will help guide like your marriage and how things are going to be when you guys live together. I think that's important too.
Yeah, so there's nuance in everybody's family, so when you're going into a new family, when you're like obviously leaving your mom and dad to cling and be one flesh, a good tool to know is just that becoming all things, becoming weak for the weak. So I kind of look at that and say, well, I could wash dishes, I could do laundry, or maybe she could do a chore, right? So we could kind of adapt a little bit, so we're not just so role dominant, which isn't bad. It's just as long as you guys talk about that beforehand and stuff like that. And that's all. The book does have some of that too in there, where guess who's gonna do the chore, right? So you both have like a time to like take a minute, and you just fill out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, and then she says I'm gonna do this, and and then you bring it together, and then you're like, oh yeah, we said pretty much the same thing, or this one we're different. And then we were able to like kind of hash it out, like, who's gonna do. I think we're pretty much on par with what we said. I think some things, they're still like in progress too, because just because you just get married doesn't mean you're done. It's gonna change sometimes too. Just depends on your season and your situation. But it's just something that you'll have in back of your mind, like, oh, we gotta have run checks and balances, with where we're at.
And what I also learned in the book is learning to say sorry and meaning it, having forgiveness, and how to say sorry, because you can say sorry and not really reach your spouse. Like for me, like he could say, I'm sorry, but if he doesn't say the reason why he's sorry, like it doesn't touch me. But, if he says why he's sorry, then I could like that. I don't know, that just helps. It helps me. And for him, just hearing the words I'm sorry, it affects him like in a good way, like it touches him. So I think that's like super important, of knowing how to say sorry and really meaning it. and having forgiveness and grace. I know that you're gonna come into you're gonna come across something that you guys may not agree on, and there may not be like your side or his side. It's like you guys kind of have to compromise. And in the book, it talks about that, like compromising and stuff like that. Even when it comes to like your family and stuff, like the traditions, like I said, and also like having like boundaries with your family. Because sometimes, I don't know, in the past, my parents didn't really have boundaries, and then just learning to have those boundaries if, an issue came about. And yeah.
Yeah. Also, for the man, I'm just, well, maybe women too, just a biggest thing. It's not always about what you know. It's just how you're applying yourself, how you're looking in the mirror and really being like, am I really gonna just keep doing this pattern because you know who you are, right? You know when the lights are off and it's just you and God. You really know your flaws. You really know when you're acting a certain way or you're acting out of something. And a lot of times we suffer in silence. A lot of times we don't talk about it. A lot of times, sometimes it's a very bad idea to just not say anything. So even if I say, hey, I really don't know how to really respond to this right now, I'm sorry. Just that you're acting on it and you're keeping yourself accountable. Because sometimes the worst thing to do is keep your spouse trying to read your mind. Even though you're one flesh and it's like we read each other's mind, but there's sometimes when we're in the wrong and we hide what we're feeling, and those become very bad patterns. Just kind of self-diagnose yourself, and also ask the Lord to help you out with that part about your relationship, because it's not a one-off. I know that's just not me. I know that's everybody's experience. And then you could apply that with your relationship with your parents, your relationship with her parents, and even your friends. So always examine yourself and take inventory on your heart, and just ask yourself, am I doing these patterns that I've been doing since I was a little kid? Go from there, lay it out there. So you're not crazy. The book is there to help you. I think, what's his name? Gary Chapman. He did an awesome job. We look forward to going back to this book probably again. I know we have recapped it on our spare time, but it's been a blessing, honestly. If you really don't have a tool and time and resources, and let's just say you didn't follow through on your therapy or on your counseling, or it just didn't happen for you, I would say go through the book, and the more honest you are, the better it's going to be for you. So it's a W for us, for sure.
Yeah, and shout out to Sarai for recommending this book. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but it really was. It was good. And even though it did have its challenges, I really did enjoy it, and I got a lot out of it. And even just being able to go back on our notes and kind of compare, we're on track. And even because it talks about finances and stuff, we're on track on all of those things. And also going back to our goals and what we had at the beginning. And I think it's just cool that you can always come back to it and going back to your notes, even when you guys get married. I highly recommend. 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.
Peace.